Hello, my name is Dr. Chris Adigun, and I'm a board-certified dermatologist in private practice in North Carolina. And I'm very excited to talk with you today about the UV shield. So, why do we need the UV shield? What is its purpose? Well, if you look at the nail service industry, 85% of nail consumers coming into the nail salon are looking for a gel manicure. So why? What's so great about a gel manicure? Well, gels are very durable, so they last a lot longer than a traditional manicure. They can be applied in minutes, so they're quick, unlike other options such as acrylic nails, and they're economical, and they give a high shine, beautiful, beautiful manicure. So what's the catch? They require UVA emitting lamp to cure the gel product to the nail plate. And that is really the key step in this process of how you have a gel manicure. There's no way around it. So when you see gels that are advertised as gels without the UV, they're not gels. So what about the lamps? Are the lamps safe? Well, the jury is still out on that. We're not entirely sure just how safe these lamps are, but the good thing is that there's been a number of investigative studies into these lamps and how safe they may be. And they're trying to quantify the risk for these nail consumers. And what we have found is actually pretty concerning and certainly not anything that can be ignored. Number one is that there's no regulation of these lamps. And so what the challenges to these studies is that these lamps are all over the place in their strength and how much UVA that they emit and what amount of time that they require. So studying them is actually a challenge. The other problem is that you're relying on nail technicians to keep a standard amount of time of exposure for each one of these nail consumers within the lamps. So there's variation in time, variation in strength. So studying the lamps is actually challenging. Regardless of these challenges, what we have found among these studies is that the UVA that's emitted by these lamps in some cases is as many as 4 times the strength of that from natural sunlight. So this is definitely more than anything that we can quantify. Even trying to parallel it with natural sunlight is very difficult because this is artificial UVA rays, much more powerful than the sun. So other problems that we have is that we're seeing that we're able to quantify how many gel manicures you would need to achieve DNA damage in the skin cells. We have actually been able to confirm that DNA damage is occurring within the skin cells from the UVA emitted by these nail lamps. So that poses a problem. Number one, are we putting these nail consumers at risk for skin cancer? Potentially. Also, UVA rays are responsible for what we call photoaging. So that's thinning and wrinkling of the skin, causing brown spots and other things that we look for as signs of aging in the skin. So people that are really cosmetically concerned about their nails are likely concerned about the appearance of the tops of their hands. And I can honestly say that I would not want to expose my skin to these UVA nail lamps without adequate protection. So we just talked about how great gel manicures are, but then there's the problem with the UVA lamps. What do? Well, I'm actually a firm supporter of gel manicures. I think that there's no better product out there for nail consumers. So then how can we have it all? Well, with adequate protection, we can have it all. You can have the gel manicure, but you just have to make sure that you adequately cover and adequately protect your skin. And so patients ask me all the time, well, can I just use sunscreen? Well, there's a couple of problems with sunscreen. One of them is purely logistical. When during your gel manicure do you have 20 minutes to wait for the sunscreen to soak into the skin? That really doesn't exist in the time allotted for a manicure in a busy nail salon. And number two, we're talking about UV rays that are more potent than what's emitted from the sun. So when we look at our sunscreens, whether they're broad spectrum, which means they protect against UVA or not, are they going to be adequately protected? Are you applying enough during each gel manicure? So from a logistical perspective, as well as a scientific perspective, I don't think that sunscreens are even reasonable. So then you think about the gloves. So there are a number of gloves available where the fingertips either been cut off or they're fingerless gloves. So these are a good idea. The problem with gloves is that they don't fit everyone. You cannot use them on your feet if you're getting a pedicure. And many of the gloves out there that say that they are UPF protective are actually not UPF protective. And with each wash, that UPF protection goes down. And the gloves aren't cheap. If we're going to have a product that's really going to be able to protect everyone, it needs to be easy and accessible. And by accessible, I mean inexpensive. And really, it needs to be able to fit everyone and ideally protect both the hands and the feet. This needs to be as ubiquitous as, say, the pedicure flip-flops that the nail salons give away with each pedicure. When anyone comes in for a gel for their fingernails or their toenails, I think that either someone should bring this with them or ideally the salon should provide them. This is a really great service that they're providing, so we need to offer really great protection for our nail consumers. And so the YouVeeShield is actually a polymer, and it's tiny, incredibly thin, so small that you can fold it up and it fits in your wallet. Whereas gloves, you can forget them. Who says you have them in this bag that you're going to go get your manicure? Well, you always have your wallet with you, or potentially even fold them up and put them in your cell phone case. So it needs to be something that's really easy so that everyone will know that they can protect themselves sufficiently. And so the YouVeeShield is the only product I have found that meets all of these criteria. But most important of all, the YouVeeShield is the only product that I've evaluated across all the gloves on the market that blocks 99.9% of all UV rays. So at the end of the day, it's easy and accessible, and most importantly, it's completely and totally protective. And for that reason, I feel like I can stand behind the YouVeeShield for my patients. I can stand behind the YouVeeShield for anyone walking into a nail salon and wanting a gel manicure. So I hope that this was educational about, number one, gel manicures, and number two, the YouVeeShield. And if you have any further questions, let me know. Cut it off.